Hello guys. Somebody had asked me, I posted this in a Facebook group that I belong to about the sale, and somebody asked me how I was going to ship it. So I thought I would show you what process I take. I've shipped a lot of unusual items, breakable items, and probably over the last 3 years, I've only had one broken item arrive to the customer. So anyways, I thought I would share with you how I do this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this thin cardboard, and I'm going to make some protection for around the individual glass panes. Okay, so first I put some of this cardboard down here around the bottom. That is going to keep my windows from sliding back and forth. Now on the back side, if you can see here, that this is has a lot of space in it, where the bottom is running on a track, so they're not going to go down, but they would go up. So I have to put some spacer in here also. Okay, so this is what I've got at the top. I have this piece pushed in underneath this. This is wedged in over here. And this is a thinner piece of cardboard because the space up here is a lot smaller. Anyways, if you see, it still wants to move, but I've got more that I need to do. I still have to protect the edges. So we're going to work on those next. Okay, so for the edges, I'm using this very thin. It is cardboard, but it's, you know, I don't know, couple, maybe 2 times as thick as construction paper. It's a quite thin cardboard. Okay, so here's what I've got. I've got the cardboard at the top, I've got the cardboard at the bottom, and the 2 sides. Now I need to protect the center where the pieces of glass overlap. Okay, so what I plan on using is this piece of cardboard here. If you've never used one of these tools, this is a box resizer. This thing is great if you just want to make some creases in cardboard. Make them so they fold into nice even lines, as opposed to just trying to fold over a piece of cardboard. If you don't know how they work, what this is a it's like a little tooth wheel or whatever, and it puts perforations in the cardboard to make it so you can fold it. And if you see like what it does, I can run this with one hand. Like that. You can see with my lighting will light up. There you go. So that's what it does, and then that's where your fold spot is at. Okay, so what I've done is actually 2 lines with a box resizer. That way, what this does is it's going to crease nicely around that piece of glass, but it's going to leave space for it. Okay, so you can see I've slid this around here, and this is on the back side. Now I'm going to do the front side. Okay, so I got all the cardboard in place. And everything is pretty secure now. It's not rattling at all when you move it. I still want to put something here to make sure that this window doesn't slide over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of styrofoam and I'm going to cut it down to size to fit right in there to hold that in place. Okay, so I got that piece of cardboard stuck in there, and I'm going to do the other side of it also. Okay, so I got my styrofoam pieces in there, got all my cardboard in there, the glass is secure, it's not moving anywhere. Now, this may seem like overkill to you. I put in here labels telling them what order to remove stuff in. The reason I do this is because I went to all this work to put all this cardboard and styrofoam in here to keep this stuff from breaking in shipment. I don't want them breaking it trying to get the pieces out, because they are in there pretty tight. Okay, now I have this laying down, and the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fit some styrofoam on this side of that handle, and then also on this side. So as I was trying to put this last piece of styrofoam in here, this piece right here was giving me a lot of resistance. I don't want to press something down that's going to break the glass. So what I did was I cut this right here, lifted the flap up, and I put another crease in there to make it so it bends over better. Okay, So what I've done now is I've added this styrofoam on here. Now, part of the problem still is that this handle is sticking up. I want this to be covered because if this bangs up against something, it's gonna break the glass. Okay, so what I've done is I've got this layer that was on the inside and the handlebar was still sticking out there. So I've just kind of layered a couple more layers of styrofoam on there just to give us all some cushion and to keep that bar from being exposed. I also flipped over on the other side and did it over there also. That side wasn't as much to do. It just needed this inside layer because it didn't have the bar sticking out of it. It just had a knob that had to be covered. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is this. This actually came from an electric flat type wall mount fireplace. I always keep all this material that I find in boxes because you just never know. Now this would fit perfectly on here. It would slide right on there. I have two of them. I could put it on both ends of it, but I'm actually going to ship this a little bit different just so I can show you how I can make protection for this piece if I didn't have that. So what I've got here is a big Amazon box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this down. I'm going to take the seam right across there apart. Okay, so I have this box tore apart. And I have this stand up on end just to show you this side is all done. This knob. Now this knob does not stick out further than this wood, so this should not be a problem. However, because that is, you know, this styrofoam here does kind of push down in there, I'm a little bit concerned about it. So I think what I'm going to do is put a layer of bubble wrap underneath this before I lay it on this box. Okay, so I have my green bubble wrap underneath there just to give it a little extra cushion. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this window all the way to the back edge of this cardboard. So you can see, slide it all the way to the edge. Okay, so I have this also all the way over to this seam that's already part of the box. I did put a little of the big bubble wrap on top of it, just one sheet on each side, just to give it a little extra protection. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pen. I'm going to draw a line right here, and I'm going to create a seam right here with my box resizer. Now when I use my box resizer, generally speaking, this part is supposed to go on the edge of the box to hold you in place. But when I'm using it freehand like this, I usually take that part off because it just gets in the way and it keeps you from being level. So I usually just go slow and make a couple marks with a pen to where I want to be and then just go across. It doesn't really have to be precise as long as it's straight. So I made that for this side. And then after I slide this back over, I'll be also making one for this side. Okay, so I've got my line. What this is going to be is it's going to go right up alongside here. And then when this flips over, like that. When you use the box resizer, make sure you don't go over the same spot in the box more than once, or you'll end up cutting right through the box instead of making a crease. Okay, so I've got that part done. Now I pulled this one up and I need to draw a line there with my pen level with the top of that so that I can create another crease on this side. Okay, so now I've got my creases in place. I've got my box that is all folded over and it doubles right over top of that. I don't even mind that it overlaps because it just gives a little added protection over top of where that handle is at. So now what I have to do is tape the center together and then create creases on the ends, or instead of doing that I can just cut them off because this is made out of wood. It doesn't really need protection for that way. If you haven't realized, this is not going to be the box this is shipped in. This is going to be inside another box. Okay, so here's the box. We got it all taped in the center. I got the edges cut off to the end. Now the next issue is, remember how we built up in the center? This space can't stay like this. So what I'm going to do is fold some cardboard over and just kind of pack that in there a little bit. Okay, so this is what I've done on both sides. This piece of cardboard is quite long. It goes about halfway across. This one is not as long and wide, but it gives that extra support in the center of it, and that way this doesn't just get crushed down. Okay, I feel very confident about this window and it making the trip to where it's going. If you see, you don't hear anything moving around in there, it feels very solid. I don't really like where my seam ended up on the side here. I probably could have planned a little better for that. I need to add a little more tape right here also. The next thing is to find a box for this to fit inside of. You want to have a couple inches of room on each side of it and on the top and the bottom of it. Always keep a tape measure, yardstick, something like that handy, because there's no sense in going searching through boxes when you don't really know what you're looking for. So we'll measure this and see what size box we need. Okay, so what I need is a 24 by 21 by 7. Plus, to add a little extra on the top and bottom, I probably want to add it probably up to 9 inches. I'm not worried about this end or the other end touching the sides. The box I'm probably going to use is 24 inch. It'll fit in there snugly, and those ends are protected. It's the top and the bottom that I'm really worried about because of the glass. Okay, so I found a box. This box is a 24 by 24 by 14. So I'm obviously going to have to cut down the top of it. I'm hoping that has a little room on the ends that it will fit in there. Now, if this is actually 24 inches and that is smaller than 24 inches, it's not going to work. Sometimes the boxes are outside dimensions, not inside dimensions. Okay, so I tested it and it is going to work in there. You see it does fit really snug. With the wood frame being on the outsides, I'm not really concerned. It's really stable. It's metal inside a frame, so the frame shouldn't have any issues. It's the glass that we're worried about. And I feel very confident about the glass inside. So I'm going to take this back out of there and I'm going to find something to put in the bottom of the box to give it a little cushion. Okay, so I just crinkled up a bunch of paper and threw in there, and now I'm going to put the box back in there. Okay, so I've got my box back in there. Now you can see there's quite a bit of space there, and obviously I don't want to use that much fill. So I'm going to be using my box cutter. I want to have probably at least 1 inch on top of it of fill material. So I'll just mark it for about 1 inch above that and go around with my box cutter. And then I'm going to fill in along the edges, and then we'll be ready to seal it up. Okay, I've got my perforation done all the way around. I started cutting the corners. I just thought I'd show you what we do. You just take your box cutter and you take that and cut it down to where your perforation is. Okay, so I got my corners cut. I've got my stuffing in the box. I'm ready to close the lid. When I close this down, there may be too much stuffing in there, and then I'll just have to pull a little bit out and kind of redistribute it. I generally will cut off these side flaps about right here where the original crease was at on the 2 sides. The other sides, I will completely overlap them, as long as they're not overlapping the box. They'll completely overlap them just because it gives extra protection. Now when I weigh this, if it throws it over the pound mark into the next pound, just by 1 ounce or 2, I'll untape it and cut off part of the overlap of the flap just to get rid of some of the weight, because there's no sense in bumping yourself up another pound for, a little extra cardboard. See, here's how we're doing. It is going to overlap quite a bit. So like I said, once I get this weighed, if it's going to weigh over the next pound, I'll trim some of this excess off. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So I'm at 20 pounds, 1.3 ounces. I will be cutting off some of this overlap of the cardboard because I'm not going to pay the extra pound weight for that little bit of extra cardboard. Okay, so I don't really care about this seam being in the middle. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't really make any difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run my box cutter right down the edge of this, and then that's where the seam will, or that's where they will be taped together at. Okay, so I took the extra cardboard off. I still have a lot of taping to do, but just to show you, sometimes you think you're going to save money and you don't. It still is going to be a 21-pound box. Okay, well, I think I just got to get this taped up and then I'll be shipping it out. I did put in the weight for this box, and what I come up with is the buyer paid $21.23 to have the shipped parcel, a USPS parcel, and it's going to cost me $22.73. So by going over by a pound, it cost me $1.50. Which is okay, I guess, considering the profit I made. This particular item, I bought it at an auction for $5, and the sale for this was $84 plus shipping. So I had plenty of margin there, even going over. I generally will package my items before I list them, and I do calculated shipping on almost all of my large packages. Now, please keep in mind when you are selling unusual, large, heavy items on eBay or things that require a lot of special packaging, that this packaging material, I mean, you can get a lot of it for free. I tried to get a lot of it for free. This particular box I bought at an auction. They have, in this area, we have a lot of auctions of like businesses that maybe have went out of business, or they have supplies they don't need anymore. So this is a U-line box. I'm not really sure on their website how much a 24 by 24 by 14 box would run you. My guess would be probably $5, $6, maybe $8. I don't know, but then you have to consider that you have to buy a lot of them, and you have to pay for shipping to get them to you, or go to the UPS store and buy them. Anyways, this box ran me $1 because I bought a whole bunch of them at auction, and I got like a stack of 100 of them or something for less than $1 a piece. The other packaging material that's inside it, the Amazon box, obviously I'm recycling, so that was free. All the little pieces of cardboard were free. The styrofoam I did pay for. Sometimes we find that places are giving it away and will use recycled pieces. Anyways, I'm going to estimate that I had about $3, maybe $4 worth of styrofoam in there. The green bubble wrap, I also buy big rolls of that from Home Depot. I use that for shipping electronics with. So I don't know, maybe add another $1 in there for the green bubble wrap. The newsprint I also buy, and it's relatively cheap. So I'm going to say that my packaging materials total were maybe $10. So I still had quite a bit of room in here for profit margin. Sometimes when you're top rated seller, depending on where your item is going, if the person selected parcel select or parcel post or parcel select for USPS, a lot of times as a top rated seller, you can ship it priority for cheaper than what they paid for parcel. So your customer is getting an upgrade on priority mail. You get free insurance up to, whatever yours is set at, $50 or $100, and they get it quicker, which should make them happy. And then that extra little bit that you get off offsets your shipping materials. But anyways, keep this in mind when you are trying to list items on eBay that have excessive amount of packaging that needs to be done, that this really adds up. The packaging on this added, I believe 5 pounds, maybe 4 pounds. Maybe it was 4 pounds. Added about 4 pounds onto the weight of that window. So if you didn't realize that you needed to double box this, and you didn't pre-package it, you could really hurt yourself financially with the shipping cost. Just being off by a few ounces cost me $1.50. And could you imagine if you were off by, 5 or 6 pounds because you didn't estimate right? So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.